All right, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, family. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Oh, big brother Dallas, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Unto us he will deliver his promise. That is correct. He shall deliver his promise. It is good to be back on the tube. We've been away. I've been so busy working and getting things done politically that needs to be done. Doing a lot of work. I spoke at the reparations panel for the reparations in California. I spoke there last week, I believe it was, via Zoom. And it was a real good, I enjoyed myself. The reaction that we got was very, very well. We were very well received. One of the panel members was ready to vote right after I finished speaking. But reparations, family, is real. And as we have said it plenty of times, it's going to happen in our lifetime. Now, we all know that us down here in Mississippi, we'll probably be getting it before anybody else, simply because of the work that we're doing. This is part of our agenda. So it's coming. But to be able to represent us at the reparations panel in California and to deliver to them the right message at the right time, to empower them with courage to do what needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, everybody knows what should be done. The problem is, do we have the courage to get it done? And so, by Allah's grace and mercy, we delivered a real positive message in a short amount of time to get it done. And so we're looking forward that if we're asked to return, we will definitely return and give another powerful message with more information to help them make the right choice, make the right decisions. Today, our topic is the fullness of time. The fullness of time. We know that there's a war going on right now over in the Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. But there's also, well, as I was checking yesterday, and something just told me just to Google how many wars are going on right this second. How many wars is going on? And it came up to be 42 wars are taking place right now. Majority of them are on the African continent. The majority of them, whether it's dealing with Boko Haram or separatist groups here and there, the fighting is on and the fighting is real. But the news only shows you what's going on in Ukraine, as if the fighting that's going on in Africa doesn't matter, when it actually does. But in the fullness of time, time is a measurement, because as we grow, and we know it takes time for us to grow into the people or to the person that we hope to be. Time is that unit of measurement that must be given to all things. No matter whether you're giving in a relationship, you got to give time. It takes 5 years, as some say, just to know and learn from each other. It takes 5 years. Well, if you quit in 2 or you quit in 3 and throw it away because you got a little difficulty. Now, some difficulty is worth it. Other difficulty is not. But in the fullness of time, we know that our ancestors cried out for a generation that will not punk out when it comes to dealing with our enemy. We know this, that our ancestors cried and begged for a generation that doesn't have to bow or scratch where they don't itch. We know that our ancestors wanted a day that will come where justice and freedom will reign free. Peace and blessings, sister. Miss Life Lessons, it's good to see you. And so we got to be able to understand when we're looking at the world today, and you see this war in the Ukraine, and people's doing their little protesting, and I stand in solidarity with the Ukraine. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. These are the same people who are doing Africans wrong. These are the same people that's stopping them from getting on trains and buses. They ain't no different. But they demand your solidarity while hurting your brothers and sisters at the same time. And what really gets me is when I hear Black people say, I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing. Why are they doing this? Why? You got to remember, this cracker is not like you. It's not like me. They're not like us. So since they're not like us, why would you expect them to be that way? When you look at the map and understand, and I don't, over there, if you're Black, you're surrounded on all sides by the cracker. All of these white countries over there, you're surrounded by the cracker. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're surrounded by them. You cannot afford to be blind when you're surrounded by your enemy. You got to know who they are. You got to know what their potential is, and what, if they get pushed to shove, what they going to do to you. This is what you got to know. World War I. That wasn't no Black people fight. That was the cracker. World War II. That wasn't no Black people fight. Again, that was the cracker. That was cracker against cracker. Cracker against cracker. Then you get sucked in over that. You get sucked in over their wars. When you got to realize they're not peaceful people, period. And they're never going to be that way. Now look here. They got a law in the UK where you could be born in the UK and that's your country. That's you're a citizen up there. Now, you go out and commit a crime, or don't even commit a crime. Let's not even use that as an example. Let's use you go out and protest. You see the protests going on, you want to join the protests. You go out there and join the protest, they arrest you. Now, they can say, we kicking you out. We kicking you out. We're going to send you back to the country where your parents came from. But you were born there. But because you chose to go protest, which is a right, then they say, all right, nigga, we're going to take your ass and deport you. You got to go. So they send you back to your parents' country, but yet you're a British citizen. You're a British citizen. That they can just kick you out. They can take your citizenship. For what? Because you were protesting? Because you was addressing a grievance in accord with law? And they throw you out? Take your citizenship? Why? Why? Because they want you to be quiet. They want you to keep your head down. They want you to be good. Come here, gal. Come here, boy. Sit down over here and be good. Now, don't you challenge me, gal. Don't you challenge me, boy. Don't stand up. Don't tell me what your right is. Because then I'm going to show you what your right really is and kick you out of my country. Even though you helped build. Even though your brain power is contributing to the wealth of the country. But they can snatch you just like that. So they're trying to punk you. That's what it is. Because they know that their time of rulership is over. They know it's over. And so they're trying to set up their children so they can hold on to some grip of power. But if you, the ones that's not afraid of the cracker, if you're strong enough and bold enough to speak, then now you putting fear in them. And so their answer to you putting fear in them is to kick you out of the country. Our God did not come to give us death, but life. But life. And we got to understand and know that the Most High loves us, and we have to love us, yourself, each other, the way the Most High loves us. Anything else is unacceptable. Anything else is unacceptable. So we have to begin that process of loving ourselves as the Most High loves us. Seeing ourselves, understanding ourselves, because we got to be able to understand self so that we can be able to understand our enemy. Because the enemy sits back and he plots and he twists and he plans on you, on me, on us 24/7, 7 days a week. This is what goes on. And see, we got to be able to understand our response. We got to be able to understand our response. We got to be able to understand our own initiative and what it is that we're going to get done. Because this is what it's about at the end of the day. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? The fullness of time. We got to understand. No, I'll start this way. You know, there's a saying in the Bible that there's wars and rumors of wars, right? But what comes before the war? What happens before you even get to the stage of war? Betrayal. Betrayal comes before the war does. So you got to be understanding and looking, understanding where is the betrayal. Because that's the precursor to war. Where is the betrayal? That happens before the war starts. And unfortunately, you, me, us, we've been betrayed so many times. We begin to look at it in a strange way of acceptance. When you're accepting something that you're unworthy to accept, and begin to rationalize the acceptance of betrayal. We got to stop and we got to begin to be thinkers. I spoke this morning to a group of Africans, our African brothers and sisters from different countries on the continent. And I was explaining to them, as I saw it, what it is that we need to be doing. Because there's this big old talk going around about Black people in America being xenophobes and dealing in these quote unquote diaspora wars. Now, all of a sudden, at the greatest time, you want to fight each other. While you fighting each other, who fighting the cracker? While y'all fighting each other, who's dealing with the enemy of both? Because he's working while you two going at each other. He's working. And so I expounded on some of the issues that they brought up. They were saying that, we would be going to school and Black children would call us African booty scratchers and say this about us and say that. And they were speaking and saying, so they were xenophobes from children. And I say, no, they weren't xenophobes as children. I said, I was called the African booty scratcher when I was going to elementary school. I called Black people African booty scratchers when I was in elementary school. And there wasn't nobody from Africa, quote unquote, there. We're all of us are Black people born here in America. And we were calling each other this. Didn't mean we were xenophobic. It's just doing what we do as children. Now you are a grown man, you are a grown woman, and you want to carry that as the example that Black Americans don't like Africans? And you're going to use that as your ammunition? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. I said, that's children being children. That's what children do. And we got to understand this and not take what children do and you're an adult and you're going to hold it and say that they are afraid of you. There's no fear there. There's no fear. I said, the problem that's going on is that you get Africans or Caribbeans that come into America, and they're asked one question. The cracker get them on TV and ask them a question. What do you feel about reparations? And then the brother or sister from the Caribbean or from the continent will give the wrong answer. The wrong answer for black people, the right answer for white folk. They'll give them the wrong answer and say, well, I don't think they deserve it. They don't need no reparations. And then that would make us angry. Because it's, wait a minute, how do you say that about our justice claim? That we don't deserve it? One Nigerian that's running for Senate or governor, I think he's running for mayor or even governor of Michigan, one of the two. If it's mayor, he's running for mayor of one of the cities in Michigan. If it's governor, then of course he's running for the state, for the governor of the state. And he said, we're gonna do away with Black History Month because it's racist. And you say, what? You're gonna do away with what? You're gonna do away with Black History Month because it's racist? You got to be more smart than that. You got to be more intelligent than that. See, it is through ignorance that the wrong answers are given. And if you don't know the right answer, then you should say, well, I reserve my question or my answer. You should ask this person over there because they know more about it. See, you can't allow them to use you in such a negative way that it brings division. It brings anger. It brings mistrust. You cannot be used. See, but this is what is the cause of it? Is because you don't know your enemy. You don't understand when the cracker is using you against yourself. So that there can be a fight between two groups who should be working in conjunction with each other to move a purpose. But instead, you got two groups now that are fighting each other, that don't need to be fighting. And after I finished my little talk, and a few of the Africans responded, the first woman, she responded and said, well, I didn't know we was at no Black Power rally because I didn't come here for no Black Power speech. I said, okay. I didn't say nothing. I just pulled out my pencil, start writing notes so I can answer her point by point. Another one said, well, we don't like that language. We shouldn't be talking, they say, we don't like that language. We shouldn't be using, I think he said pejorative terms, because they didn't like the fact that I said cracker. They didn't like that. Another one said, well, you're just trying to excuse the unexcusable. And they went off saying their little bits and pieces. So when it was my turn to respond, I say to them, well, what you got to understand is the methodology that was used to train us up in a way where we won't like you. That we won't like you. You won't like us. You have to understand how they use division. And as I was going more into it, a sister cut me off. Oh, we're not having that. We're not having excuses. Da, 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 da. I say, well, then this is what? I said, because I didn't bring you no propaganda. Everything that I told you was truthful. Now, you can reject everything that I'm telling you, and then that's on you. But those who will come behind and see this meeting, hear this meeting, and say, well, damn, Brother Muhammad gave them the truth. They rejected it. So we don't want to hear no peace talk, nothing. We ready for war. Because that's what you're going to produce. If you don't want to be mature in mind and understanding, then y'all gonna go at each other. For what? For the enjoyment of the enemy. Because you're not going to advance your cause. And I told them, I said, look, a lot of things going on about Nigeria this and Nigeria that. But the realities is that you need us and we need you. That's the reality. Whether you want to admit it, whether we want to admit it, that is the reality. We need each other. So I'll be the first to go out there on my own reputation and say, yes, we do need you. And you do need us. So if we can understand that and then put our heads together to devise up a plan, a method that's going to be beneficial to both, then we'll be making some actual headway. But if you want to be proud on your Nigerian culture and your Nigerian ways that we're not asking you to change, only thing we're asking you to do is be brotherly, be sisterly, and let's work in conjunction with each other to fulfill our desires. And that's the same thing I'm telling us that we got to do. But if you want to be hard-headed, then you're going to bring that clash and you're not going to win. We're not going to win. Because the energy that they'll use fighting you, they should have been using that on the cracker. The energy that you're going to use fighting them, you should have been using that on the cracker. This is the reality of our time. If you don't realize that the cracker used this same dividing tactics, I mean, think about it. Just think about it. What they do in Rwanda? Man, it wasn't the American cracker that did this in Rwanda. It was that British cracker. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that this American cracker will trick you 90% of the time. But that British cracker, he will trick you 100% of the time. Let's just look at Rwanda. Now, this was the British cracker. He go over there. I think you got the Hitu and the Ritu, the two groups, people that you look at them, you can't tell them apart. Right? They was living with each other in peace prior to the cracker. Then the cracker get there. He put his arm around one set, be buddy-buddy with that one set, and have that one set abuse and mistreat the other set. Now, this didn't happen for a month or a day. This happened for years of this ill treatment that the cracker is at the bottom. He's at the root of it. Oh, thank you, Miss Life Lessons. The Tutsis and the Hutu. The Tutsis and the Hutu. Now, their division, the cracker is at the root of it. He's the root cause of their division. Now, cracker leaves, and they go killing each other, or whichever one that was not embraced by the cracker, they went to kill the one that was embraced by the cracker. Now, I was never over there, so I can't tell you what I saw, but I think the majority of us saw Hotel Rwanda. I think the majority of us saw that. And we know that in movies they make stuff up. But hell, reading reports from the UN and hearing what other people said that was there, it was no picnic when the killing started. If your neighbor was of that wrong side, you about to be done in. They did not spare women. They did not spare children. They did not spare the cripple. They did not spare the old. They was coming. And they were killing. And didn't have a worry about it in the world. And then the American cracker, Bill Clinton, come out and say, well, I apologize, because when Rwanda was going on, the genocide in Rwanda was going on, we did nothing about it. We were wrong. I apologize. And that's supposed to make it okay? In the fullness of time, we know what this cracker has done. We know that they took us from Africa and brought us here, worked us, beat us, killed us, mated us for their benefit. We know that they went into the continent, went into Africa, colonized, killed, raped, maimed, murdered with impunity. King Leopold took a Congolese girl and took some sort of a hatchet. And the bet was to see if he could split her in two, from the top of her head all the way down to her private. King Leopold. How could you forget what these demons have done? How could you forget what these demons do? How could you forget? When we stop and we think about the mass killing, the Devil's Punch Bowl in Mississippi, where freed slaves were murdered by the Union troops, how could you forget? Why would you think Hitler was some special type of cracker, that he was an anomaly? That he was just some anomaly that came out of nowhere. Hitler was just another everyday cracker who lived his truth and didn't give a damn about what you thought about it. He lived his truth. He wasn't in the background making plans on exterminating other white folk. He was doing it in the parliament in front of your face, telling you, you better get your ass out this country, because if not, we're going to kill you. We're going to make it legal. We're going to pass a law that we're going to kill you. But we got a question, though. We got to ask ourselves, why are we not hearing about the black people that was in Germany that were killed, why they didn't get no reparations? Why is that? Why in the Holocaust Memorial, there's no mention, there's no picture, there's no nothing that black people were getting ran through by Hitler and his demons? Why there's no mention that we were there, that we were being murdered wholesale, just walk up to you and kill you, and there's no consequence? Why? You say these fake Jews are your friends. Well, ask them why you didn't tell us, since you did such a good damn job of telling us about Anne Frank, since you did a good enough job to tell us about your genocide. Why you didn't tell us about the black people that were there, that Hitler killed? Why you didn't do that? Why didn't you open your mouth and say something? Why you was quiet about our pain? See, they want us to cry for them. They want us to feel for them. But they don't cry for us. They don't find for us. They kill us. Yes, Miss Life Lessons, our people in Namibia. Germans go there even to this day as their vacation spot, their lap of luxury spot. How could you forget what you were done when they were doing, the British again, at the Mao Revolution or the Mao Uprising? They would make sons have sex with their mothers. They had one black man with his thumb. He had to dig a hole with his thumb in the ground, and he had to walk. So he had to bend down as he was walking in a circle, digging a hole with his thumb. Every time that he go around in the circle with his thumb in the ground, that's him digging the hole. And when it was reported, and the British, I think it's called the Home Secretary or something like that. I think it's called the Home Secretary, but whatever. He went over there and told them, look here, when we sin, we have to sin quietly. That's what he told them. When we sin, we have to sin quietly. Now, he didn't say, don't sin. He didn't say, if we sin. He said, when we sin. Meaning, we know we're going to do it. This is our nature. This is what we do. But let's do it in a manner that it doesn't make the news, that is not seen, so it's not put out there before the world of what we're doing. He didn't say, stop doing it. He said, do it quietly so the world can't see how we really are. We're talking about the fullness of time. Understanding that this cracker ain't gonna never change. They war because that's who they are. That's what they love to do. They're always fighting each other. Always fighting each other. Now, our role, because it is through the process of time that we find out who we really are. It is through the process of time that we're able to look at ourselves and say, you know, we really need to change this. We really need to change that. Because there's changes that must be made, and you don't have a choice. Because the swan song was given, and because it was given, those who are corrupted, your end has come. Your end has come. We got to realize that our God turns us to that which we turn ourselves. What is it that you turn yourself to? You turn yourself to the way that the God desires for us to be? Or do you turn yourself to the way that the enemy desires you to be so that you may find favor with the enemy versus finding favor with our God and our people? How do you turn yourself? We got decisions to make. We got decisions to make. How do we turn ourselves? Who are we turning ourselves to? We got to be able to understand this, because this is so important, because it defines who you are. And what are you? We got to understand this. And that's right, Miss Life Lessons. We are the only humans on the planet, the cradle of civilization. But what are we now? Are we civilized? Or are we walking around on our fours like the beast? What are we? What are we doing? What have we turned ourselves to? And what has that turn made of us? Because any time you can stand there and watch your brother, your sister being killed, and all you do is pull out your phone to record so you can get views and likes and go viral while you watch your brother or sister die at the hands of the beast. What do you think you have become when you can stand there and watch? See, they can stand there and deny our people in the Ukraine to get on those trains, to block them from leaving one country into another. They can deny them that because they have no humanity. They are not human. They have no civilization. They can do that all day long, and it doesn't disturb who they are. But what have we become? What have we become? Now, I know that being under the tutelage, being under the system, under the control of the enemy has taken toll on us. But we got to understand, and we got to be able to see that there's changes that we got to make in order for us to be the real us. We got to understand, and we got to be able to see that we're not ourselves. So there's some healing that has to go on. But if you abort the process, you're going to always be the white man's nigga. Just like the video we posted, the making of a nigga. And we showed our sister down in Mississippi who said, I'm a nigga, my children are niggas, and we appreciate the white people. We're going to always be your niggas. Now, that sister didn't have the knowledge that we have. She didn't have the understanding that we have. And I asked the question to the panel, can she be saved? Could she be saved? And everybody said, no, nope, it's a wrap. She can't be saved, and her children there can't be saved. Now, I said, I think they can. I said, I know and I understand that it's always said that we can't save everybody. I understand that, but I think she can. I think her children can. Because the light of knowledge has not hit them. Then I remembered when me and Brother Adar was in Mississippi and we were going to town visiting, seeing and checking things out. And we were in this brother's home. And Adar was doing the recording as I was talking to the brother. Now, I didn't know what was in the chat until we got out the brother's house. But when we got out of the house, and everybody in the chat was like, get out, he gonna call the police, leave, get out. Now, while I was sitting there teaching the brother, and I didn't know it until after it was over, I got up and right behind me on the wall, there was a picture of white Jesus. White Jesus, right there on his wall. And I told her, I said, I wish I'd have saw that when I was sitting down talking to him, because then I could have taught him about that and why he ought to take that damn picture down and destroy it. But I didn't see it, so I couldn't talk on it. But our people are beautiful people, but we lack knowledge. We lack the proper understanding of it. We lack love, commitment, and discipline. We lack these things. We lack these things in real time. And some of us enjoy the fact that you don't have it. But then you gotta be able to understand why your families fail. And you will never be able to produce successful families failing. You got to be able to understand this. You got to have love. You got to have commitment. You got to have discipline. In order for these things to work, some of you get yourself in these situations and you quit. Oh, well, this person done ticked me off. Well, I see this in organizations, especially up here in Philly. I see this and I go there and I'm talking to them. And I say, well, who is your person that's going to, be your media person? Oh, well, they left. Well, why they leave? Oh, we had a falling out. Well, what y'all have a falling out about? Oh, they didn't like what we said. Or they wanted to do this and I didn't want to do that. So we left. They left. It's like, huh? Wait a minute. What happened to the commitment that y'all made to your own organization. See, this is what we got to understand. The cracker is organized 24/7. So you're going to go fight an organized, disciplined group, and you're not organized, and you are so undisciplined, and you expect to win. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. You got to be able to understand what needs to be done. You got to love each other and love your mission enough to not quit on yourself. Because that's what you're doing. Ain't nobody ever told you it's going to be easy. Ain't nobody ever told you it's going to be a silver lining. It's going to be a silver street road that you're going to walk on, and there's not going to be complications. There's not going to be problems. What kind of world you living in? That's a fantasy. What Anita Baker say? That's a fairy tale. You want to live a fairy tale? I'm sorry, but this is the reality. The reality is you gonna get upset. The reality is you ain't gonna like everything. But where's your commitment? See, but you ready to go to war with each other, but you ain't got no war for the cracker. You ready to betray each other, but you stay loyal to that cracker, but you will betray each other. What the hell are we doing? And you really expect progress. There ain't gonna be no progress that you gonna make. The cracker gonna make progress because he gonna use you to know that I'm gonna keep these two niggas down because they gonna stay apart. They gonna stay apart because they don't have the commitment. They don't have the love nor the discipline. That even though they may tick each other off, I ain't going nowhere because you all we got. But you don't think like that. You think, the hell with that, I'll leave and I'll be by myself. Well, who the hell are you helping by yourself? You ain't doing nothing. Your purpose is gone because you couldn't take the heat. So you rather be an aborted person than rather to work and to come up out of the disagreement. This is why our organizations fail. This is why our marriages fail. This is why our relationships with our family members fail. Our relationships with our friends fail. Yet we expect progress. We got to learn to stop. We say we go through stage after stage until we meet our eventual perfection. Well, you got to realize that to go stage after stage, it means that you're going to come into conflict. You're going to come into difficulty. You're going to come into stress. You're going to come into strain. You're going to come into struggle. But you got to do the work to overcome it in order to go to the next stage of your own development. But if you quit the process of being developed, there's no other stage for you to go to. Because you're an aborted person on the low level because you didn't want to struggle. Not struggling with somebody else, but struggle and overcome the demon of self. You don't want to struggle. You don't want to overcome. You want to live in a fantasy world. Then you're going to die right where you are. Because this cracker is real. He ain't a fantasy. And demanding your death ain't a pipe dream. There's systems in place that's doing what he desires. But you ain't got no time for that. You ain't got no time to think about what's really going on. We got to stop and reflect. Because it seems to me, no matter whether I'm in Philly, no matter whether I'm in Jersey, no matter whether I'm in New York, no matter whether I'm in Delaware, when I get with you all and I'm sitting there listening, the same problem that I'm hearing in New York, New Jersey is the same shit in Delaware. It's the same thing in Philly. Why are you suffering from the same thing in your organizations? Why are you not as successful as you should be? Because you're not disciplined. You lack commitment. You lack love. You don't want to struggle with yourself. You got to be able to understand this. You got to understand this. The enemy banks on your hatred of self. He banks on that you refuse to do what's right for yourself. He calculates this. He calculates this. Oh, these niggas ain't gonna stay together. Give them 2-3 months. They be arguing with each other. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. We ain't gotta sweat for them. Cause they gonna be out and over and done. Just give it a little time. In the fullness of time. You gotta be able and know it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. I know some of the meetings I get out of, and I just gotta tell the truth. I get in the car and I start driving and I start praying and asking the Most High to give me strength. Because you see so much dysfunction. You see so much animosity over stupid stuff. It makes you question, what the hell am I doing? Because you can something 6, 7. I'm in one meeting, I said the same thing at least 7 times. And it's like, you didn't just hear what I said? Why you don't want to accept what I just said and roll with it, but you want to stay with the problem? You don't want to go with what the answer is to the problem. Because somebody want to say, I'm hurt more than anybody else. And everybody need to cater to me so I can be okay. Grow up. I said, brother, now I love you, but I got to tell you, you got to grow the hell up. Life just don't work there. Everybody not going to pander to you like you're a little baby. You're a growing man. You're a growing man. You got to grow. You got to accept some things. You got to accept some things. You ain't got no diaper and nobody going to give you no bottle. That's just not reality. We got to stop playing We got to stop playing. It's just that simple. So, look here. There's somebody out there that's depending on you, that's waiting on you to do your job because your job is connected with them. There's people waiting on you, needing you to fulfill your purpose in life. But if you walk out on your purpose, what about them that's needing you to do what God birthed you to do? And I know a lot of times I sit back and I think, it's like, man, I haven't been on YouTube to deliver a message in a while now. And I know people are waiting to hear. And I got to do better at getting back on here. But it's like these meetings and dealing with this reparation stuff, it really like drains. It really drains you, because it's you would think that you will find it more cohesion dealing with this, but it ain't. Our people have a thinking that's just way off. And so there's a lot of teaching that needs to be done in order to get them where they can understand what needs to be done and go out there and do it. And so that requires that extra energy. It requires that extra energy. And so you begin putting all this energy out there, you be drained yourself. I know what Malcolm X felt. I know how he felt when he was driving from A, B, C, D to do this meeting here. I know what he felt. I know how tired he felt. But we don't quit. We don't give up. Because somebody is waiting on you. Somebody needs you to do what the God has put on you. And if you don't do your assignment, then you ain't helping us. You hurting us. And the last thing I'm going to say, because my little time is up, I was talking to this sister, and she's a really good friend of mine, been a friend of mine since high school. And she was telling me about the things that she went through in her life and how, she doesn't even want to be dealing in a relationship. And I told her, I said, I understand what you're saying, but you got to realize that you are the key to some brother's life. You are the key. It's a shame that you was in a relationship with no good niggas, but within you, because you a black woman, you ain't a cracker woman. Within you, there's something for the right brother to turn him around, to help him when he down. But if you quit, I ain't dealing with no men. I'm out of that thing. Then what you have that the God has placed in you, you gonna take it to the grave with you? Because you can't give it to another woman. You can't give it to a cracker male, a Mexican male, or Oriental male. You can't give it to them. Because it ain't gonna work them. Because they're not manifest, they're not made for that. So it ain't gonna work. So you're gonna take it to your grave. I said, you doing an unjust service to yourself, and you're doing an unjust service to our people. This is the reality. It is something in you that's a brother out there needs And it's something in him that you need. And when y'all find each other, it may not be perfect, but it's going to be better than any relationship you've ever had. And if y'all work it properly, y'all be together for the rest of your life, for this life and in the life to come. Your lonely days will be over. But you can't quit on the process. You can't walk away from the struggle. It ain't going to be easy, but it's going to be worth doing. Every day when I get up and I make my prayers and I ask Allah to help me to be a better man, a better son, a better father this day than I was yesterday. Because we're still growing. And I told that brother that you still growing. He said, I'm a grown man. What you mean I'm still growing? I said, you should be still growing, meaning you should be still learning. Because once you've reached that pinnacle that there's nothing else to learn, then you die where you are. So have you reached that pinnacle? He says, no, sir, Brother Muhammad. And I said, that's right, because you're still growing. We all are still growing. I ain't reached the pinnacle. I'm still growing. Because we got work to do. We have to be about our Father's business. We got to understand that. It ain't no running away from it. In the fullness of time, we are to redeem our people. We are to be one with our Creator, our Father. What they say in the Bible, Abba Father. You will no longer be a slave, but you will be an heir to our God. In the fullness of time, we have learned who this enemy is and what they do. We understand where we got to go and what we got to be about. We got to have the courage to get up and do it, even when it seems difficult, it's hard. But we got to do what we got to do. I do what I got to do because I love you. And I want for you what I want for myself. Freedom, justice, equality. We ain't got no time to be sitting around on our behinds, waiting, praying, thinking somebody else gonna come and make a bright future for us. We gotta make a bright future for us. Our future generations will live and die by what we do today or by what we fail to get done. As I told those in California at the reparations panel, I told them, I said, you are in a position to speak for our people, not just the living, but the dead. Our ancestors that were slaves, it is your responsibility to speak for them because they could not speak for themselves. It's our time. It's our time to rise, to lead. Don't punk out on the glorious road ahead for us. Embrace your struggle. Embrace it. Because through it, you will be birthed into a new creation. It's the struggle of life. It's the struggle of our time. And we got to accept it and conquer. And conquer. I thank you, family, for being with me today. I ask you that you like, share, subscribe so we can grow our channel, because the enemy always strikes our channel down when we get to a certain number. But we got to do what we got to do, regardless of whom or what. So as we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm going to kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black first. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Love you, family. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom.